let me inform you about our test 2. The test 2 is going to be on 24th of October, which is next week, Tuesday. We are writing in the evening from 6 to 8 p.m. And the coverage for the test will be labor cost control, including the calculation of time rate, piece rate, and payroll accounting, and overhead accounting with the specific direct and primary and secondary allocation. All those topics are going to become in the test 2, which is next week on Tuesday, as stated in the course outline. Please let us know if there is any other test on the same day. Is there any other test? Are you writing on 24th?
No, ma'am.
No, but we are writing on the 23rd.
What time?
In the evening.
Yeah, no, that could be possible. You are writing a test a day before, another test next day. Even some students, they write the 2 tests on the same day, maybe one in the afternoon, one in the evening. So that can be possible. But we do not want a situation where 2 tests are at the same time. And for the preparation of the test, we are having a special lesson on this coming Saturday. Saturday, we are conducting a 2 hours extra lesson from 10 to 12. Once the venue will be confirmed, I submitted the booking. I'll post the details of venue for Saturday class on the WhatsApp group and as well as on the Teams and Moodle. So please check and make sure that you are attending the class on Saturday as well. So that
ma'am, you're saying coverage?
Yeah, the labor cost controls, whatever the topics we done so far, and the methods and techniques, including the payroll, preparation of payroll, and overhead costing until whatever we able to done by this week, Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday, normally we are going to revise some of the method which is we are going to cover on Friday and Saturday too. All right. So we are going to continue with the class activity, which is we started in our last lesson. But before it, I would like to share some of the method of secondary allocation and just again a recap of the stages of accounting, computation stages in the preparation of overhead allocation list. Are you able to see the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Just a more clarification in terms of cost allocation. So always remember that the cost allocation is actually identification or identified with a cost center or cost unit, like how much cost is going to this department or this particular type of product, because sometimes one company, they also produce more than one product in the same production unit, in the same factory or workshop. They are not just making only one product, they make more than one. So how do you distinguish the total cost? Like in maybe in furniture making business, they are making various types of furniture. The furniture made of wood, the furniture made of leather or glass. They are not the same type of product. So when the overhead cost has been incurred, it has to be classified at a portion among the various product. This is called cost units. Center can be a department like production department, cutting department, assembly department, finishing department, canteen department, IT department. So those are known as cost center. Then it can be allocated to that cost center or cost unit. So when we are allocating the cost according to the cost center or cost unit, that process is known as allocation, cost allocation, by which each cost item are charged directly to the cost unit or cost center. Like for example, electricity charges can be allocated to various departments if separate meters are installed, but if they are not, then we have to be classify them. Salary of store clerk can be allocated to the store department because this is the salary of the manager, store manager, or store supervisor. So we know that that cost is directly going to that department. It no need to be shared or distributed to other department. Cost apportionment. This is the situation whenever the overhead costs are to be allocated or shared. Apportionment is needed when the costs are not given departmental wise or unit wise. If it is not possible to charge the overhead to a particular cost center or cost unit, they are to be apportioned. Apportion means you have to share the portion of it or distribute the portion of it to the various department on the suitable basis. So basically you have to remember when we do the overhead costing in a form of preparing the overhead analysis sheet, it has to be goes through the 3 stages: direct or specific allocation, primary allocation, and secondary allocation. So why do we need 3 stages? Why there is a need of 3 stages? Why do we need 3 stages? Direct and specific allocation, because we need 3 stages based on the information has been given. Because as an accountant, either cost accountant or financial accountant, when we record the information, some information has been recorded in a form, or you can say that recorded with the concerned department and unit. But not all of the information has been recorded departmental wise or unit wise. So some they are recorded as a unit wise, how much for department A, how much for B and C. So we already know how much cost concerned with department A, like when they issued the material, indirect material, because when you are talking about overheads, we are only talking about indirect. So indirect material. So that particular material goes issued to the department A. So from store ledger, we know that how much material has been issued to the department A, how much material has been issued to the department B and C and so on. So we can already have the information departmental wise. So you no need to share, you no need to do a new calculation. You just take that figure and allocate to that department. That is called specific allocation. Primary allocation, when the indirect costs are given in this form, we know the total, but we don't know how much for which department, how much for department like cutting department, assembling department, finishing department. But we know all together like rent. When we pay the rent, we just pay the rent of as a lump sum amount for the all area which is occupied or used by the business. But if you want to know how much rent for the store department, how much rent for the production department, how much rent for the marketing department, then you have to distribute, then you have to share, because the information is not recorded or given in this form. So when we are apportioning a cost among the department on some suitable basis, that process is known as primary allocation. That apportionment is called primary allocation. And when you distribute the cost will be distributed among, like this, among the production department as well as the service department when you distribute. So now, because service department are meant to assist the production, so whatever the cost is allocated to the service departments only need to be transferred or need to be redistributed to the productions department only. That process is known as reapportionment. That process is known as reapportionment, or it is also called secondary allocation. So that entire cost will only be consumed or will be recorded in the productions departments only. So these are the major three stages of the overhead cost allocation when we are preparing the overhead analysis sheet. Are we all together? Do you understand these points? Do you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here is just defined what is the direct allocation, primary allocation, and secondary. So direct or specific allocation when the total cost allotted to the particular department. Like if you know the fueling charges for department A and the whole amount of fueling charges will go to the department A, that is called specific allocation. Then after specific allocation, the second one comes as a primary allocation, which is a process of apportionment. So it is referred to the spreading of overhead costs to all production and as well as service department on the common basis of distribution. And after having the step 1, step 2, then we go for the secondary allocation for reapportionment, where all of service department costs need to be apportioned to the productions department only. And to do the secondary allocation or for reapportionment, there are 4 methods which can be used for secondary allocation. So this is just an example of apportioning of the cost in the overhead cost analysis sheet. And the basis of apportionment will be a reasonable basis on which, like rent. So when you are sharing the rent, you can share or distribute the rent based on the occupied area of each department. You can't apportion the rent maybe on depreciation value or on the machine value, because there is no relation between the machine value and also maybe a corner of. So it has to be shared based on the fair individual. Then so that proper. Then second, like machine insurance. The machine insurance, if it is given all together for all the machines from all the department, then uh, it also need to be apportioned. But what is the suitable basis for the machine insurance? If you are apportioning the insurance cost, So the machine insurance can be, because the insurance charges are always valued or always determined or calculated on the value of machine. So if you are also given the value of machine for all the departments or for each department, then we can use that information as a suitable basis to apportion the machine insurance on the basis of machine values among the department. So the basis of apportionment should be fair and reasonable. You can't just use any basis. Like if you are sharing the telephone charges, you should use the telephone point as a basis of apportionment. You can't just use floor area because telephone charges is not relevant to the floor area. Okay, you understand that point? Like here are some examples of a suitable basis of distribution. Like if you are sharing the various costs, the cost like building, insurance cost, uh, rent of the building, all those things. So when you have all those expenses in your business, then it has to be a portion on their suitable basis. So building maintenance cost will go as per floor area or floor space or rent also. Depreciation on machinery will be distributed on the basis of the book value of machineries. Insurance and building, because building is based on the area occupied, so it will share on the floor area or floor space. Salary of works manager or factory supervisor, it will be apportioned based on the number of employees in each department. If you have the purchasing cost has to be apportioned based on the number of purchase order made by each department or each units. Property tax, the tax will be occupied based on the area stored, the units of material requisition. So like that, these are some example of suitable basis of apportionment. Now, as we said, for the secondary allocation, there are 4 methods. So these 4 methods are known as direct distribution, step down, sequential method, repeated distribution method, and the fourth one is known as simultaneous or algebraic method. Now, what these methods are? Direct distribution method. The direct distribution method emphasizes on that the cost of service departments are directly apportioned to the production department only. Yeah, any cost which is incurred in the service department, it's need to be apportioned, shared only to the productions department based on the service they render to the production department. The second method is known as sequential distribution, and the other name of this method is also called step down method. So distribute service department cost regressively to other service department and then to production department. You can't understand fully now. You will understand this method when we do practically 1 or 2 questions. The third one is known as algebraic distribution method. Distribute cost by simultaneous equations, recognizing the relationship of services rendered by departments of yes. So first of all, today we are going to discuss the direct distribution method or direct method. In some textbook, it is called direct method. In some textbook, it is called direct distribution method for the secondary allocation. And the fourth method is known as repeated distribution method. Under this method, the service department's costs are, as you can read that, under this, the service department costs are repeatedly allocated among the production department So you read about the, now we are going back to our question. Okay, let me also just share what is the overhead absorption rate. Absorption means charging the equitable share of overhead expenses to the product. Yeah. Uh, as the absorption is to be made on the same suitable basis. Yeah, sometimes the company also need to prepare the budget for upcoming uh, events or the activity or production level. Maybe suppose someone running a bakery business currently making in the factory 30,000 loaf of bread, and some cost has been incurred, and now the same person he want to also make, instead of uh, 20,000, maybe 30,000 um, um, unit he wants it to produce. Maybe it's a bakery business, so they want to make more bread. So they have to determine if we are increasing the production level, how much is going to affect, how much cost is going to be incurred. So direct cost they can identify with the current market price, but the problem with the indirect cost, what rate altogether for all the indirect costs, what rate are they going to be charged. So overhead absorption rate help us to find out that rates. By that we can determine the per unit charges for department or for the units. So to determine the overhead to be observed by a cost center, it is necessary to establish, moreover, to establish uh, rate so that they can determine what will be the total cost incurred if they increase the production or decrease the production. do the business have enough fund to cover the cost or not? So that is the purpose to prepare the overhead absorption rate. And for that we use this formula because the rate can be calculated per unit or with the value of the units. So it can be as a quantity for 6,000 unit or for 800 direct labor hours or 400 direct machine hours. We can just divide it by the direct labor hours or machine hours so that we can determine overhead absorption rate. The basic procedure for calculation of overhead rate is to divide the total overhead cost of the center and by the total number of unit or the total number of hours in the situation of absorption application. Now we will continue with the question which is we did started in the last class. Do you remember the question?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this was our question for a furniture making business based in Gabon. So some cost was given specifically for the department. So that cost we already allocated in the overhead absorption sheet or overhead analysis sheet. And then there are some other costs which need to be apportioned in the second primary allocation, which is the second step in the overhead preparation of overhead analysis sheet. So last time we studied for rent and rates, supervisor salary, heating and lighting, as I said, is a process of providing the fans, air con, and heating. Like something when they are preparing, making, they need heat, maybe whatever, electronic heat or whatever. So that one is also goes according to the floor area. So floor area information we have given, we add them, and then when you are calculating for departments, you will take for that department over total times that overhead cost, as we did like this here for rent and rates for supervisor salary. So rent and rates, which is 128,000, was the total cost. This cost was supposed to be a portion among the all department based on their occupied area. So what we did, we find out the total area by adding the area of each department, like 3,000, 1,800, 600, 600, and 400. So the total was 6,400. So when we are apportioning, we take the occupied area of A over total times rent and rate cost. Occupied area of B over total area times cost. Same we did for C and XY. When we are doing the supervisor salary will apportion. Normally it is apportioned according to the number of employees. But in the question, we are not given the information of number of employees. So in the absence of number of employees, the other suitable basis is direct labor hours, because telephone point doesn't have a suitable base to apportion supervisors' wages or salary. Labor rate is also not suitable. Machine value doesn't have any concern with supervisor salary. Same for the floor area. So we use direct labor hours. So we added total hour 32,000, 18,000, and 10,000. When you add it, So then you take the hours in A department over total hours times supervisor salary, the hours of B department over total times salary of supervisor, same for C. That's how we get this figure. If you add them, 128,000, 72,000 and 40, you will get that total is 240. So now same you need to do for the telephone charges. Telephone charges which has the cost of 32,000. So 32,000 also you need to apportion based on the, what is the suitable basis here for telephone charges?
Telephone points.
Telephone points, right? So these points are for all department. You add them, 60 plus 86, 96 plus 12, 108 plus 20, 128. So the total telephone points is 128. So when you are calculating, what is the cost? 32. So here you can do it is polar and yeah. Is 128. So you will calculate like this. How much for A? 60, B 36. So when you are calculating for A, 60, then times telephone cost 32,000 divided by 128. When you are calculating for B, is 36 points times the cost, and for C is how many points? 12, okay. 12 times 32. I'm just writing the denominator also. I'll type 12 and 8, okay. So this one also 12 times 32 divided by 128, and the last for Y, 8 times 32 then divided by 128. So when you calculate that, out of 32,000, the cost will go in A will be telephone point. How much? 15,000, 15,000. Then for B is 9,000. How much for C?
For C, it's 3,000. X 3,000.
X is also 3000 because it is in the same ratio.
Y then 2000.
Okay. And the Y will get
2000.
2000 out of 32. The portion will go to Y, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you apportion 15, 9, 10. So you understand how we do the process of apportionment, how we share the cost. Then you indicate telephone charges then in the column of basis of apportionment, telephone points. Then in total column, you will write the total cost 32, and then for production department 15, for B 9, for C 3, for service department X 3000, and service department Y 2000. Same, we have another two cost which is need to be apportioned in the question. And after telephone charges, the depreciation. Normally depreciation charge on non-current asset, which could be building, which could be furniture or machineries. So you have to need to see what are you given the building values? We are not given the building values. There's no value of furniture. It means the depreciation has been charged on the machine value. Then the machine of all department has been given here. Machine values for 24,000 for A, 10,000 for B, 8,000 for C, 4,000 for X, and 2,000 for Y. So we add them and get the total value of machinery. Then we apportion 180,000 among the department. Then the last one, machine insurance, which is 60,000. Because it's a machine insurance, and insurance is also calculated on the value of machine. So the machine insurance will also apportion on the machine value, which is for A 24,000, 10,000, 8,000, 4 and 2. So the method will be same as we did here for others, and then after apportioning the machine insurance, which is 60,000, 30,000 will go for production department A, 12,500 for B, 10,000 for C, 5,000 for department X, and 2,500 for Y. Same, the depreciation, which is 180,000, 90,000 will go to department A, 37,500 goes to B, 30,000 for C, 15,000 for X, and 7,500 for Y. You can try any one or two just to check if you also calculating in the right way. Either the depreciation on machineries need to apportion among all departments. Can someone try? Everybody try at least one or two figure just to ensure that you understand the calculation. Did you try to calculate at least one or two figures on the basis we did?
Please go up so that I can see that those values again.
Okay.
Let me write them down.
Mm. You just need the machine values and the cost, which is you need to apportion.
So I need to apportion how much?
Depreciation and the machine insurance.
Okay. Yeah, I can go down now.
Okay. Everyone, please try. Because when you do the calculation yourself, then you understand much better. Are you getting the same answer? All of you?
Ma'am, I'm confused. What are we going to divide with?
The total value of which one are you doing? Depreciation or machine insurance? Which one are you doing?
Of doing machine insurance.
Okay, so the total cost of machine insurance is 60,000, right?
Yes.
It's also going to be based on the value of machinery. So the value of machinery is 24, 10, 8,000, 4,000, 2,000. So the total is 24 plus 10, 34, 34, 42, 48. The total is 48, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you will do like this. The first one is 24, 24, then times the machine insurance. The machine insurance cost is 60,000. And then divided by 48, divided by the total machine value, total of the machine values. That's how you will calculate for A. So 24 over 48 times 60. So how much portion of the cost will go for department A?
80,000.
30,000. Then you will take the portion of B. How much for B department? The value of machines?
12,500.
No, I mean the value of machine. Okay, 10.
It's 10.
So for 10 times the total insurance cost,
Okay.
then divided by the total value of machinery of all the department is 48, right? The total value of machines is 48. The portion of A times cost over total value of machinery. The value of A, the machine value of, when you are apportioning, the machine's value of A times cost over total value of machinery. When you are doing for B, the machine value of B over total times insurance cost. When you are doing for C, the value of machinery of C over total value times insurance cost, like that. Like here, when we are apportioning the telephone charges, so we take the total number of telepoint in department A over total times telephone charges. The telephone points for B over total telephone points times telephone charge cost. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So for A is 30,000. So insurance premium for A is 30,000. For B is 12,500. For C is 10,000. For X is 5,000. And for Y is 2,500. When you add them from here, 30 plus 12,500 plus 10 plus 5,000 plus 2,500, the total of it will be equal to the 60,000, and 60,000 is the insurance premium cost. Is it clear to everyone? Now same you have to do for the depreciation cost, which is also going to apportion on the machine value, and the depreciation cost is 180,000. Then so 24 over 48 times 180,000, so 90,000 will be A. Then for B is 10 over 48 times cost. Try to calculate, and after apportioning all of them, then add the value of specific allocation and primary, then your total will be this amount. So once we get this amount, then we will go for the third step, which is called secondary allocation. Okay. So in the next lesson, we start the secondary allocation. And as I said, for the secondary allocation, there are 4 methods. Direct distribution. So for this year's study purpose, we are only going to have 3, we are going to apply 3 methods: direct distribution, repeated, and simultaneous equation method. We are not going to take step down method.
So, ma'am, this is in the test.
Yes, at least 1 or 2 method will come in the test.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why we finish this exercise by this week Friday. Then Saturday we do one more exercise. During the tutorial, we are already using one question on overhead with this primary allocation. So guys, please attend the tutorials. They are doing one exercise, how to do the thingy we did just now. They are also doing it. So if you practice more question, your level of understanding will be much better. All right, so prepare for the test, which is next week, Tuesday. Attend tutorial and the classes. And any